Hi folks, it's Jeanette, your personal diabetes coach. If you are looking for non-boring, non-judgmental diabetes coaching, then you're in the right place. If you're new here and you like what you see, go ahead and click that subscribe button and ring the bell so you know when I upload new coaching content. In this video, we are going to be going shopping for our first week of vegan meals for Veganuary. If you don't know what that is, stick around and you'll find out. Let's get started. Okay, so Christmas is over and now it's time to focus on the new year. I know a lot of people like to do Veganuary and eat a vegan diet for the entire month of January. I myself do that. I typically eat a vegetarian diet, but I really like to do Veganuary for the first 30 days of the year. Sometimes I go longer. I have been a little bummed over the past couple days because Christmas is over and I am a huge Christmas fan. I've been lacking a little bit of motivation, but today I mustered up the motivation. I made my plan for my first week of vegan meals for Veganuary. So we are here right now at one of the grocery stores that I like to shop at. And we're gonna get some supplies to make our first week of meals. So I'm gonna take you along with me. I've got a plan for some good diabetes friendly 45 to 60 grams of carb vegan meals to start off the first week of Veganuary. Let's head in. Okay, now I have everything unpacked from our grocery store trip today. I ended up going to 2 stores. I spent about $60 at the first store and about $20 at the second store. And this is for 7 breakfasts, 7 lunches, and 7 dinners. I also got some other things that weren't necessarily on the list for our meals this week, but they're things that I like to keep on hand. So let's go through what I got. First of all, I got some salad greens. We're gonna have salads for our lunches. You can get whatever salad greens that you want. I ended up getting baby kale and then a mix of spinach and arugula. I like these. You can get whichever ones that you want. I would keep in mind though, to try to get the kind of leafiest, darkest greens that you can tolerate. Some people really want to just go with the iceberg lettuce, but you're really not getting a whole lot of nutrition out of those. So try to go with the greenest, leafiest that you can tolerate. So I ended up with spinach and arugula and baby kale. I also got some oat milk. You can use whatever milk alternative or vegan milk you prefer. I really like oat milk. I've tried a lot of different ones, and oat just seems to be what I like the best. The most important thing to consider when you are choosing a vegan milk alternative is to make sure that you get one that doesn't have added sugar. You want to make sure you're not getting vanilla flavored or anything like that, because then you're getting a lot of sugar along with your milk. I also got some bubbly water. I actually really like soda. I don't drink it because it's bad for me. Nobody should drink it, but I really like the bubbly. So I use bubbly water and some fruits as an alternative to soda. So this week I just got some regular old sparkling mineral water. I try to get it in glass just to be a little more sustainable. I also got here some limes that I can use to put in that to flavor it a little bit. And I got some grapefruit. I like to also put that in my sparkling water. And I got an orange. So these are all to make my soda alternative with my sparkling water. But you can also use those just in regular water, just to make it a little more tasty. I'm really bad about drinking water, so I need to put something in it to encourage me to drink the amount of water that I need to drink during the day. I also got some of this Dijon mustard. This is really good just to have on hand. in your refrigerator as kind of a staple. I use this mustard mostly just for dressings, but it adds a really nice flavor to dressings. I got some bread. We are not going to use bread in any of the recipes that we're going to make this week for Veganuary, but I like to have some bread on hand in case I need a snack or I want to have some peanut butter on a piece of bread. When you're choosing a bread, you want to choose one that is whole grain. And you also want to choose one that has the highest amount of whole grains, the highest amount of fiber, and the highest amount of protein. I like this one in particular. This one also comes in thin slices, so you're not getting a bunch of bread for a snack. This one has 13 grams of carbohydrate per slice, but it has 3 grams of dietary fiber. So that makes the actual amount of carbohydrate that your body's kind of feeling with this. You can take the carbohydrate minus the fiber, so your body's feeling about 10 grams of carbohydrate with one piece of this bread. So that's not too bad. I got some fruits and veggies. I got some broccoli. This is going to be used in our vegan mac and cheese. I also got some individual carrots. I like to get these individually because if I only need 1 or 2, I don't want to get a whole bunch of carrots and then they just go to waste in my refrigerator. So try to find a place where you can get these loose. It also saves on the packaging. These are going to be used in our mac and cheese, and these potatoes are also going to be used to make the cheesy sauce of our mac and cheese. I know what you're thinking. You've always been told, I have diabetes, I can't eat potatoes, especially white potatoes like this. Rest assured, it's not going to be a problem. There's actually going to be a very small amount of potato in the cheese sauce of this recipe, and it's going to be spread out over 8 to 10 portions. So your body's not really going to see a lot of this potato in each portion. I also got some cucumbers for our salad. A little tip for cucumbers, if you don't like a lot of seeds, try to get the skinniest cucumber you can find. I really prefer the English cucumbers because they're really skinny and they don't have a lot of seeds, but they always come wrapped in plastic, which I don't like. So I just try to find the skinniest regular unwrapped cucumbers that I can find. I got some red bell peppers. These are also for our lunches this week. Some apples that are just to have on hand in case I'd like to have a snack. I got some garlic. The garlic is going to be used in our vegan mac and cheese. I'm also going to use some for the dressing for our salads. And I got a small piece of ginger. I like to use ginger for salad dressings as well. I also, this chocolate hummus. So whenever I tell people that I recommend chocolate hummus, they tend to think that it is not going to be good. This is really, really good. I can highly recommend it. I like to just dip some apples or some strawberries in this. It's good because it has protein in it. And if you put some apple with some of this hummus and some nuts all together, it really makes a nice balanced snack that should help to kind of keep your blood sugar pretty level. And this I got at the second store. These dates are one of the things I couldn't find at the first store, so I had to go to the second store to get them. They are just dried dates. They still have the seed in them. You definitely want to be aware of that because you don't want to throw the seed in the blender. And these are used in our breakfast meals this week just to add a little bit of sweetness. Dates are a great option for adding sweetness because they are much lower on the glycemic index, so they won't increase your blood sugar as much as, say, something like just regular old table sugar. For the pasta for our vegan macaroni and cheese, I got this garbanzo bean or chickpea pasta. Nowadays, there are so many pastas made out of things other than flour that will significantly reduce the amount of carbs you're getting from it. So I recommend going to your store and just looking around a little bit to see what alternatives to pasta there are. A lot of times my patients tell me that the one thing that they miss the most or that they feel like they can never have is pasta when they have diabetes. So check out some of these other pastas. We'll definitely be using some throughout this month of Veganuary, and I'll let you know the ones that I like the best, but I know I like this one. So this is the one that we are going to use this week for our vegan mac and cheese. In addition to these staples and a couple of extras for maybe snacks, I got two other things. One was just one of these kind of lower carb snack bars. I don't eat these a lot, but I like to have maybe one or two hanging around for those situations where I don't have anything to eat, or I'm out and about and I'm starving and I'm not going to be back to eat lunch in time. So that way I have something that I can grab that I know is going to be relatively healthy. It's going to be vegan for Veganuary, and it's going to be a little lower on the glycemic index and a lower carb. And finally, I got this no sugar added chocolate bar. This is a 60% dark chocolate bar with almonds and sea salt. It's also vegan. I'm certainly not going to eat this whole bar, but I like to have a nice no sugar added vegan chocolate bar laying around for when I just feel like I want something sweet in the evening. You know, I might take one or two pieces of this and just have a little snack. So making sure you have some good options in case you just have a little bit of a sweet tooth is a good idea. Putting this with some sort of nut or some other protein is also going to help keep your blood sugar from rising if you have a little snack. So that's everything that I got at the grocery store today to get us ready for our first week of Veganuary. I got everything that I need to make oatmeal for breakfast, salad for lunch, and a vegan macaroni and cheese for dinner. I also got some other little things that I like to have around and some things to have on hand in case I need them because I'm out and about and I'm not going to have access to one of my prepared meals. So let's talk about some pantry staples and just some things that I happen to have on hand for the recipes that we're planning on doing this week for the first week of Veganuary. So let's start with beans. I have just about every type of dried bean in my pantry because I eat a lot of beans. This week we are going to be using garbanzo beans. I had a few in my pantry, but I did get some from the bulk section at the grocery store just to fill up my jar here. I really like to get dried beans just because they're less expensive, they have less waste, but you can certainly use canned beans if you would like. They do have a little bit different of a texture, but that's okay. I just happen to prefer the dried ones. I also have on hand some quinoa. We are going to use this in our lunch recipe this week. You can also buy this just in the bulk section at your grocery store, which is what I like to do and just make it myself. You can also get this from the freezer section, so already cooked. It's definitely a lot more expensive and it comes in a plastic bag, but if you don't have a lot of time, that's a great way to be able to use quinoa in your recipes. One thing people don't realize is that quinoa is not a grain, it's actually a seed. So it's a good option to use in place of something like rice to get kind of that grain or rice feel, but without the high carbs that you would find in rice. Next, we have raw cashews. If you are planning on trying to eat a vegan diet for the whole month of January, or you want to try to eat a vegan diet long term, just getting a big batch of raw cashews is a great idea. These are used in just about every vegan recipe that has any sort of cheesy flavor to it or any creamy sauce or creaminess. So if you're going to go long term, stocking up on some raw cashews is definitely the way to go. I also have walnuts here that I get in bulk. Walnuts are a great option for nuts. They've got really wonderful healthy fats. They're also really high in protein. They can also add a crunch to some of your recipes, so walnuts are a good staple to have on hand as well. I also have just some steel cut oats here in this container. I get these in bulk as well, but you can get them at the regular grocery store in the package. It's best to get steel cut oats. Whole rolled oats are okay too, but you're gonna get the best kind of leveling of your blood sugar with the steel cut oats. Definitely you want to avoid instant oatmeal like the ones that come in the packages. The oats themselves are just really processed. They don't have as much fiber, and they also typically have a lot of sugar. I also have from my pantry some nutritional yeast. This is also used in a lot of kind of cheesy vegan dishes, so this is a good thing to have on hand as well. And let's see, I've got some flaxseed here. This is going to be used in our oatmeal this week. I like to get the coarse ground flaxseed. You can get whole flax seeds, but there is some thought that you don't get the full benefit from the nutrients because you don't really digest the whole seed. So I like to get the coarse ground. They also have fine ground, but I typically use it in recipes. And I find that if you get the fine ground, it can kind of get a little pasty. So for me, the coarse ground is the way to go. I also have some hemp seeds here. I use these a lot as a sprinkle on salads or in recipes. You don't have to worry about any sort of THC or anything in these. It's just the seed. And it's a good way to kind of bump up the protein value of a recipe just by sprinkling some of these on top. Let's see, I've also just got some breadcrumbs. This is going to go on top of our vegan mac and cheese that we're gonna make this week. I've got some maple syrup here. I use maple syrup in dressings a lot just to kind of give it the tiniest little bit of sweetness. I know what you're thinking, that things like maple syrup are a no-no for people with diabetes, but in these recipes, so little is used that when you spread it out over the servings, it really is just inconsequential. So it's okay to use a little bit of something like maple syrup in your recipes. I also have some frozen bananas. Again, I'm sure you've heard that bananas aren't a good option for people with diabetes, but these are used just for a little bit of sweetness. I put it in my oatmeal and it spreads out over 7 or 8 servings. So you're really not getting a whole lot of banana in each serving, but it does help with a little bit of sweetness and flavor. If you are just going to eat a banana, one trick is if you get a greener banana, it actually has a lower sugar content. So that's something to think about as well. And olive oil. You definitely want to have some sort of plant-based oil on hand. It doesn't have to be olive oil. I just like the taste of olive oil, so that's what I use. Those are some of the pantry staples and things that I just happen to have on hand that we're going to use for our vegan recipes for this first week of Veganuary. If you do end up making any of these recipes, make sure to message me and let me know what you thought. So now we've gone through everything I got at the grocery store and everything I pulled out of my pantry for our 3 vegan meals for this first week of Veganuary. So for breakfast, we are going to be having steel cut oats. It's going to be made with some banana and some dates. It's also going to have cinnamon, flaxseed, and walnuts. For lunch, we are going to have salad with greens and veggies, some garbanzo beans, and also a homemade dressing. And I didn't forget all of you out there who like some comfort food, we are going to be making a vegan macaroni and cheese with broccoli for dinners. One thing I definitely recommend is to meal prep. I like to make my breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals all on one day, get them all prepped and in the refrigerator, portioned out and ready to go. There are some things that you just can't portion out, and we'll talk about that as we go, but definitely meal prepping is going to make sure that you have a meal ready to go when you need it. As we go through making these recipes, I'm going to make sure to show you how to portion it out. I'm also going to show you how to calculate the calories, how to calculate the carbohydrates, and how to add or subtract things based on your own personal needs. If you're unsure how many calories you should eat in a day, I definitely recommend reaching out to your diabetes educator or your diabetes provider for advice. In addition to adding items to each meal to increase the calories a little bit based on your needs, you could also increase your daily calorie intake just by having an extra snack or 2. Not only will this give you the amount of calories that you need in a day, but it'll also keep you full. If you've decided to go all in on Veganuary and eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks vegan for the next 30 days, you're gonna have what you need in this series. But keep in mind, it's not an all or nothing thing. You might just want to try eating 1 meal a day vegan, or a couple meals in the week vegan. You can definitely do that too. I'm going to separate out the videos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if you decide that you just want to do one of those meals vegan, you can go directly to that video. Thanks for going shopping with me today. Hopefully you found all of that helpful and you're ready for your first week of vegan meals. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button so other people can find it too. We'll see you next time. Bye!